Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. And today we're diving into a track that's been stuck in my head since the moment I heard it.
Oh, nice.
It's Dubois Snake Skin by the TRVLR.
Oh, yeah, Dubois Snake Skin. This one's really interesting.
It's so good.
It just dropped a few days ago.
Yeah, just last week.
January 17th, to be exact.
I think it was like Tuesday or something.
Yeah, and making waves already.
Oh, for sure. And you know what's interesting is the TRVLR isn't exactly like a brand new artist. You know, they've got a whole backstory.
Yeah.
They were a drummer and guitarist for some pretty big names in the music world before this.
Exactly. The source material we have doesn't actually name any names, but that background definitely adds a layer of intrigue, doesn't it?
Yeah, total mystery.
We've got this seasoned musician choosing to step out on their own, create something entirely new. Now, based in Berlin, the TRVLR describes their music as a blend of downtempo electronic and acoustic sounds, creating these really immersive soundscapes.
Yeah, and Dubois Snake Skin is like a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
When I first listened to it, that word hypnotic kept coming to mind.
Totally. One of the sources we have describes it as a hypnotic dive into vulnerability and self-discovery. It's fascinating how the TRVLR combines those elements in their music.
Yeah, for sure. So let's break down the song a bit. It starts off with these like hauntingly beautiful guitar chords. They're almost hesitant, like a soft whisper.
I love that.
And then this subtle rhythmic click starts weaving in almost like a heartbeat underneath.
Oh, yeah. It's like the music itself is tiptoeing into this space of vulnerability, mirroring the theme of self-discovery. As the song progresses, it transitions from those stripped-down beginnings to something much more pulsating with these really cool psychedelic percussion elements.
Yes. Yeah. And it's so well crafted, too. And as that percussion picks up, you get these atmospheric synths swirling around the edges, adding this whole other layer of texture and motion. What really got me, though, were the lyrics. They're so raw and poetic, almost like whispered confessions.
Yeah.
There's this one line, I am a statue carved in uranium. And then later, I live on a bed of nails. What powerful imagery.
It's interesting you picked up on those lines. The way I interpret them, there's this strong sense of resilience in those images. Think about it. Uranium, it's this powerful, almost dangerous element. And then a bed of nails, uncomfortable, challenging.
Yeah, it's like even in the face of hardship, even in the midst of pain, there's this unyielding strength.
Right. And that ties into the overall message I'm getting from the song, which is about embracing vulnerability as a source of power. Think about it. Haven't we all felt like we had to hide parts of ourselves at some point, whether it's at work, in relationships, or even with our families?
Oh, absolutely. And that's where this song really hits home, I think. It's like the TRVLR is giving us permission to be our authentic selves, even the parts that we might be afraid to show the world.
For sure.
It's like they're saying, hey, it's okay to be a little rough around the edges. It's okay to have scars. It's okay to be vulnerable.
You know, it's funny because I actually had a similar experience recently. I was working on this new project, and I was so caught up in trying to make it perfect that I was afraid to show anyone.
Oh, yeah.
I was hiding my work, afraid of judgment and criticism.
It's so easy to fall into that trap.
Yeah.
Did Dubois Snake Skin help with that at all?
It did, actually.
Yeah.
It reminded me that true creativity comes from being vulnerable, from putting yourself out there, even if it's scary. And you know what? When I finally shared my work, the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. People connected with the raw honesty of it, the imperfections that made it unique.
That's awesome. And it's so true. Sometimes the things we try to hide are the very things that make us interesting and relatable.
Right.
It's like those Japanese pottery techniques where they intentionally leave cracks and imperfections in the glaze. It's called wabi-sabi, and it's all about finding beauty in imperfection.
Exactly. I think the TRVLR is doing something similar with their music. They're not afraid to show their rough edges, their vulnerabilities, and that's what makes it so compelling. You know what's even more impressive?
What's that?
The TRVLR has a personal vlog on YouTube where they share more about their journey. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I'm definitely adding it to my list.
Oh, you checked it out. What's so cool is that you can really sense that same spirit of embracing vulnerability in those videos.
Oh, wow.
They're talking about their struggles, their creative process, and it's just so refreshing to see an artist being so open and authentic.
That's awesome. It's a chance to connect with them on a more human level, to see the person behind the music. This kind of reminds me of a time I was at a concert a few years back, and the lead singer just stopped mid-song and started talking about their anxiety and how it affects their performance.
Wow.
It was so unexpected, but so powerful.
Yeah, it's amazing how a moment of vulnerability like that can create such a strong connection with an audience.
Right.
It makes you realize that these artists we admire are human too, dealing with the same struggles we all face.
Totally. And I think that's what makes Dubois Snake Skin so resonant. It's not just a catchy tune, it's a reminder that we're not alone in our imperfections and vulnerabilities.
For sure.
It's an invitation to embrace those parts of ourselves and find strength in them.
Definitely. Speaking of invitations, I think we should extend one to our listeners. If you haven't already, we highly recommend checking out Dubois Snake Skin.
Yes.
You can find the link in the episode description. It's a musical experience that will stay with you long after that last note fades away.
Absolutely. And while you're at it, explore the TRVLR's other work, especially that YouTube vlog. It's a great way to get a deeper understanding of their artistic journey and the inspiration behind their music.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. Dubois Snake Skin is more than just a song. It's a sonic exploration of vulnerability and self-discovery. It's a reminder that true strength comes from embracing our imperfections and finding beauty in the unexpected.
Yeah.
It's a call to action to be our authentic selves, even when it's scary, because that's where true connection and creativity lie.
It really is.
And ultimately, it's a reminder that we're all in this together. We all have our Dubois snake skins, those parts of ourselves we might try to hide. But when we share them, we create space for others to do the same, and that's how we build a more compassionate and understanding world. What resonates with you most about the TRVLR's message? What song empowers you to be your true self? Share your thoughts with us on social media. We'd love to hear from you.
And a big thanks to Dulaxi for sponsoring this deep dive. Dulaxi is the platform that helps you discover and connect with the things you love. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep embracing your authentic self.